Hi, my name is Kapil. This is my budget project. Here's a picture of me at the Federal Reserve headquarters. For my budget project, I chose to pursue a career in nuclear engineering, and more specifically, the subfield I chose was as a radiation effects engineer, working for Astranis Space Technologies Corporation in San Francisco, the heart of San Francisco. Um, The entry level salary was around $80,000, and with all the deductions, that comes out to $4,657 per month. Um, Here's some photos you can see. It would be what my job would basically be is designing and testing radiation resistant satellite equipment to go into space. Um, right. So obviously, to be close to that job in San Francisco and just in general, I decided to live in the Bay Area, more specifically because it's a hub for engineering and technology firms that I could work for. And there's a ton of nuclear engineering research that goes on. For example, at the firm that I chose to work for, Astranis, they do a bunch of nuclear engineering research, and Berkeley National Lab is right down the street from me at near the UC Berkeley campus, and that is primarily dedicated to nuclear engineering research. In addition, Oakland provides an urban environment with plenty of amenities. There's a lot of stuff to do in and around Oakland and San Francisco, and it's also a convenient location if I decide to get a master's in nuclear engineering, since UC Berkeley's just down the street. Here you can see the rent. I decided to share this location with a roommate, 1039 Eileen Street. So the rent would be $1,300 per month for a reasonable amount of space, which is pretty good considering I'm in the Bay Area. And the Bay Area is notorious for having very high rent and very high housing prices. Here are some utility prices, for example, the internet speed and the power. Now, onto the first expense, car payments. This is one that I found quite difficult to do, but I decided to go with a pre-owned 2020 Prius, just because they have great gas mileage, and everybody loves Priuses. And it turned out with a 4.4% APR over 3 years. Um, 72 months, it would be $311 per month, which is reasonable. And the insurance came out to $106 per month, and I figured some average maintenance would be around $76. So pretty high cost compared to rent of around $500 for this used car. But I think that was all right. It did okay in my budget. Um, this is what it looks like. Now onto subscriptions. So I decided to um, indulge in some subscription services, more specifically Apple Music and a local gym membership at Flex Gym in Alameda, which is close to where where I chose to live. And it's $46 a month, and I was willing to go a little bit more expensive than some of those really large chain gyms just to support local businesses, and they seem to have better facilities. And I also decided to purchase a subscription to Apple Music, which is Apple's streaming service, for $10 a month, just because I like to listen to music and I think that's a good deal. So the cost of my subscriptions in total came out to be $56 per month. Now on to the third expense, gasoline. So because I'm driving a Toyota Prius, it has really good gas mileage, 50 miles per gallon in the city, which is where I am. And my commute is 10 miles one way, and I'm going to be driving to and from work. So it'll be 20-mile commute, and probably around 20 days of the month I'll be working. So that's 400 miles a month of just commuting. And obviously, I'm going to be driving around, picking up groceries, doing whatever other tasks, and of course, traveling, doing camping trips in the nearby Sierra Nevada mountains. So I'll round that up to 1,000 miles. And at 50 miles a gallon, that's of course 20 gallons of gas for the whole month, which is really good. And right now, gas prices are around 3.95 in Oakland, so gas would cost $79 a month. So some reflection on my budget project surprised me with just how many minuscule expenses we incur on a monthly basis, and I wasn't expecting just the sheer amount of expenses I had to account for in my calculations. Having chosen the Bay Area as a location, I expected my budget to be very tight, but it wasn't as bad as I expected, even given the really high rent and high cost of living, more expensive food, stuff like that. So I was pleasantly surprised with that, having a little bit money left over for savings and investments. The hardest part for me was tabulating my food expenses since I eat a lot of stuff, homemade food, and generally it's a lot of stuff made from bulk ingredients, and I had to divide the portions up, and that was kind of tedious, but it was interesting to see that I consumed $63 of food in a week. The number of expenses associated with owning a car also surprised me, of the insurance and the car payment and the licensing fees. It just was way more than I was expecting. And I some things I took away. It taught me to live frugally wherever possible, because there's all sorts of unexpected expenses that you just may not know about, and they'll pop up. So it's good to just save where you can, so that way you have money to um, offset those expenses. So here's my reaction on the budget project. Just kind of confusing and sometimes frustrating, but overall, I think it was a rewarding experience. Thanks for listening to my presentation.